Hello. It's Hawu. Hello. Hi, Moopy. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. We're doing more Heart of the Woods today. Can you guess? Can you guess? Yes, we're doing more Heart of the Woods because I'm obsessed with this game. You want to know how excited I am with this game? The moment I open the game and hear the menu music, I'm just like hyped. Is Moopy giving me a treat already? I'm already getting a treat. Oh my gosh, Moopy, thank you, thank you. Let me get myself a tweet. Let me get a little munchy tweet. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. I love these cookies. Oh my gosh. Crumbs are getting all over my skirt. Num, 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 num. Picking up the crumbs from my skirt and putting them in my mouth. Because I do not want crumbs all over my floor. Thank you for the hydrate. Okay. So there's that. Water. Ah. That was refreshing. Hello, Gilded Siren. Thank you for the lurk. So, anyway, yeah, we're doing Heart of the Woods today. Can you take a guess? It's gonna be amazing. Anyway, but yeah. How's everyone doing today, by the way? How is everyone doing? So, I can tell you right now, there are gonna be some Haru yawns during the stream. Not only because there have been a lot previously, but also because the sudden sleepy just kinda hit me about, like, an hour ago. Like, my body is just like, you're sleepy now. And I'm just like, why? Haven't I been getting it? I've been getting 8 hours, isn't that enough? And then, yeah, so there's probably gonna be some Haru yawns. I mean, granted, this is typically like the time of day where people tend to take naps, I think. I don't know. Imagine knowing about taking naps. Imagine napping, literally ever. Hi, Izzy! Oh my god, is that my wifey? I love you. I love you. So, anyway. Heart of the Woods. Are you all ready to hear my summary? So, to catch everyone up on what you've missed with Heart of the Woods. So, our two main characters are Maddie, this girl over here on the right, and Tara, not pictured. Tara is a trans girl. We confirmed that with our last episode. These two work on, like, a YouTube channel, Paranormal, where they do, like, investigating paranormal stuff, and, like, you know, Maddie's the, like, manager slash producer, and, or the director and producer, and Tara is, like, you know, the host. So they get invited to this little town, Eisenfeld, out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of winter, and it's like, you know, they get invited there by Morgan, who's this kind of eccentric girl that no one in town really likes. She's kind of ostracized, and yeah. So these two, Tara and Maddie have not been getting along very well because Maddie has decided she's leaving the show, and Tara's upset about that. So they kind of had a bit of a rift between them. Morgan's mom, Evelyn, is kind of creepy and weird, and so basically, then Maddie kind of stormed off after her fight with Tara and met this cute, pretty ghost girl over here on the left, Abigail. And they instantly fall in love and became each other's love of each other's lives. That is not stated in the story, but that's essentially what happened. Then Tara and Morgan ended up being a thing. Tara ended up sleeping with Morgan on accident / on purpose / totally not on accident. And so, like, anyway, they're kind of a thing. I don't know how much of a thing, like, they are entirely stated to be, because, like, they both explicitly did say they're not looking for a romantic relationship, but at the same time, they very clearly seem to be in one, so I don't know what's going on there. It's complicated, I guess. And then, yeah, meanwhile, turns out Evelyn is totally freaking evil, like, literally possessed by, like, the devil or something, because essentially Evelyn, she brought Maddie out into the snowstorm, and Maddie died. Maddie just died of hypothermia, and then luckily Abigail was there to save her, so she didn't go on to the afterlife. She's a ghost now, so they're both ghosts, hence the title of the stream. So these two ghost girls get to be in love and fall in love with each other. Abigail finally got to have physical contact for the first time in 200 years. Maddie is struggling with the concept of mortality and her own mortality especially. And then we met the spirit of the forest, who's a totally chill dude, just like a little tree guy. And then what else? I think that's about caught up. Oh, the only other stuff I haven't yet mentioned are, Morgan is in line to be sacrificed to become the new host for Evelyn, and that's only gonna happen in, like, not too long, like maybe about a week until the full moon on the winter solstice. So that's something, and then also Morgan's cat actually does talk. She's just a fairy who is disguised as a cat. So yeah, that about catches everyone up. Hey Izzy. Nyum. Nom. Nom 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 nom. Bite 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 bite. Mine. Anyway, let's get into the story, shall we? Think you're about all caught up. So, yes, we switched over to Maddie. So, Maddie, I'm starting to get used to it. Just a little bit. I've done my best to keep a regular human schedule as much as I can. Going to bed at night, waking up in the morning. Even if they're unnecessary, they do help me feel a little bit more like myself. Like, not quite everything has changed, Hunger or not, I'd kill for a cheeseburger or something, though. I'm not a puppy, Izzy. No, I'm not. You're wrong. If anything, you're a puppy. Cactus puppy. Okay, fine. I'll accept that. I'll accept a cactus puppy. I don't know what I'd do without Abigail. She's never far from my side, and she's my anchor through all this. Endlessly supportive and positive. I know that she views my circumstances, well, differently than I do. That she enjoys having me around, but I can't fault her for that. I still can't fathom the depth of the loneliness she's felt with nothing but a silent tree spirit for company. I happily accept you laying on me, Izzy. The days that we've spent together have been pleasant enough, but I still don't want to accept this fate. I can't. I rise from my spot on the stone floor. Sunlight pours through the stained glass window of the church and has been for some time now. There hasn't been much snow since the storm that I was caught in. Yay, puppy pillow. I will be nice and comfy for you, Izzy. I love you, and I hope you sleep well. I love you too. Mwah. Okay, Moopy, hope your art goes well. All of my time has been spent here in the church, or exploring the woods with Abigail. I tried to see the charm in some of the places she's taken me, but they all feel the same. Trees and rocks and snow in varying combinations. The forest may be huge, but it's stifling in how repetitive it all feels. I keep hoping that Tara and Morgan might come by, so I could at least see them, even if they can't see me. So far they haven't. I look around the church, expecting to see Abigail waiting like usual, but she's nowhere to be found. I can hear her, though, from just outside the church, singing. I move through the doors to watch. Just a few feet away, she stands with her back to the church and me, her arms outstretched, but not fully. She sways softly as she sings. And God, how she sings. Her voice has a lilting cadence, and not even the wind dares interrupt or quiet her. It's unreasonably beautiful. The kind of voice that if you heard it on the radio, you'd have to pull out your phone to see who you're listening to. And to think, I get my own private concert like this. She faces the sky, and I don't need to be able to see her face to visualize the smile that I can hear in her voice. The song she is singing is wordless, but still beautiful. I wonder if it's something she came up with herself. I imagine her spending years playing with the melody, or maybe she's just making it up as she goes along. I notice, then, that I'm not the only one watching. A small flock of half a dozen birds or so crowd around her feet, watching in rapt attention. They hop around, occasionally cheeping to join in. She waves a hand and they flutter about, never perching on her, but never leaving either. From the trees, just barely peeking out, a young deer observes as well. It isn't close enough for her to touch, but close enough for me to count the spots on its belly. It's just like something out of a cartoon, where she's the fairy princess who's friends with the wildlife. I wonder if it's because of her in particular, or if the animals don't feel threatened just because we're spirits, not flesh and blood. All too soon, it's over. Her voice fades away without wobbling, and the birds instantly disperse. The deer bounds back into the woods, invisible. She turns to face me.
Good morning, Madison.
I'm blushing, and I don't know why.
Good morning. That was amazing.
Thank you. I hope I didn't wake or disturb you.
Nah, not at all. Besides, if I'd known, I'd have gotten up early just to hear more.
Aw, you're flattering me.
No way, not at all. I mean it. You have a beautiful voice.
Now she's blushing too.
Thank you.
How did you learn to do that without scaring away the animals?
It wasn't really a matter of learning. It just happened naturally, over time. I sing for myself, first and foremost. I think eventually, they realized that I wasn't a threat.
It seems like they were enjoying the show too.
It's quite the compliment if even the birds like my song.
There was a deer too. You might not have seen him though. He was kinda hiding in the bushes.
Oh, was he? I'll have to introduce you next time. He's quite friendly too.
Really? You know him?
Most likely. I suppose it could have been a new deer. I'd have to see him to know for sure.
Nowadays, there are these things called petting zoos, where you can pay money to walk around and pet tame animals, like deer and sheep and pigs. I've never heard of them just making friends with people, though.
That sounds marvelous. Have you ever been to one?
Not since I was a lot younger. They're mostly for kids.
Adults in the modern world sound awfully boring in that case.
Abigail walks to my side, standing close like she always does. I wonder if it's intentional. Together, we face the forest. She touches my arm, so lightly that I wonder if that's intentional too.
If you're feeling up for it, there's someplace I'd like to show you, here in the forest. It's one of my favorite spots.
Of course, lead on. I'd love to see anything that you think is special.
Besides, it's not like I have anywhere else to be. I refrain from saying that out loud. I'm genuinely interested in what she wants to show me. I like spending time with Abigail. But I hope that she'll also be willing to answer some more of my questions now too. Having fun together is nice, but it just feels like a distraction from the matter at hand. Speaking of hands, Abigail takes mine ever so gently.
Let's go then.
We take off at a brisk pace, but the distance falls away faster than normal. I am borne along by her boundless enthusiasm, and surely more than a little magic. Trees fly by at a blur, impossibly fast. It's like being on the train again. Like snowflakes, they melt into my vision faster than I can really notice. The speed is some gift of the forest, I imagine. A consolation for what it's done to me. Our footsteps are formless against the snow. We're walking in the air. It's the same as when I first met Abigail. That feeling like that feels like an eternity ago. For at least a couple of hours more, I try to push those thoughts away so I can enjoy whatever it is she wants to show me. I want to enjoy this, for my own sake. For her sake, too. I have trouble thinking of anything other than her. The gentleness of her grip, the light and joyful way she moves across the ground, the certainty with which she pulls me forward. Every so often, she turns around to make sure I'm still there, though I'm sure she is very aware of our interlocked fingers. I know that I am. Guess I can add that to the ever-growing list of feelings to sort through. The forest shifts ever faster than it did a few days ago. When we went to visit the spirit, it changes too fast for me to keep track of any reference points. If I try to focus on one spot for too long, I get a little dizzy. So I stop focusing on that and just go with the flow. Eventually, Abigail slows her pace, and the passing of the forest reverts to a normal rate as well. At first glance, it seems like any other part we've visited, but when I look closer, I start to notice small differences. Some trees are devoid of snow, with piles of it beneath them as if someone brushed them clean. Others are decorated with strange paint-like streaks of color, mostly blue, but some are white. On other trees, icicles dangle from the branches and give off a strange glow. When I approach to examine one, the glow dims. Abigail pays it no mind. This must not be strange to her either. I hurry to catch up, though she's only gotten a few steps away.
We're almost there. It's just up ahead.
Through the trees, I can already see where she's taking me. Splashes of brilliant pink peek out just ahead, mostly obscured by the barren brown trees. I don't even have time to be curious about what they are before we arrive. A splendid grove of colorful trees spreads out before us, surrounding a small pond that must be enchanted. The leaves that hang from the trees are salmon pink, flecked with flickering lights. Lavender bushes crowd their bases, sparkling with dew or magic. While snow covers the ground all the way up to the shores of the pond, the trees themselves are devoid of it, much like the forest spirit's home. I wonder if the two are related somehow. Even more remarkable, though, is that the pond itself is also unfrozen. Its glassy surface is smooth, save for the occasional ripple that spreads across. It's small enough that I can see clear across to the other side. It makes this place feel even more secret and hidden. You could wander the forest for years and never stumble across it. Yeah, it's a very pretty location, isn't it, Moopy? I move slowly towards the water. The place deserves calmness.
Oh, Abigail. It's beautiful.
The water laps at my feet, though remains undisturbed. Like a vampire, I have no reflection, a fact that I pointedly try to ignore.
Where are we? What makes this place so special?
This is one of my favorite places. Isn't it lovely? As for what makes it special...
Her eyes twinkle conspiratorially.
Fairies.
There's a beat of silence. I feel like I should be surprised at her answer, but I'm not. So it looks like ads are about to start. So I'll take a break from reading until the ads finish. Yeah, this is such a pretty location. I would certainly love to see it. But, like, also it's kind of one of those places that, like, should probably be untouched by humans, because, you know, we tend to find beautiful places and, like, destroy them. Or turn them into tourist traps. Yeah, I would definitely love to take one or maybe even all my partners there someday. But, you know, it's fictional as far as I'm aware. The trees, though, they do kind of... What are those? Like, willow trees? I think they're willow trees. I like the purple bushes. It, like, everything is pretty. And look, it matches Abigail. Her purple nightgown and her pink hair. Yeah. Oh yeah, Japan is such a pretty place. Especially if you go during the spring when the cherry blossoms are blooming. Oh my gosh. But even then, like, just about any time of year, Japan is pretty, depending on where you are. Like, cause like, you know, if you're in like the concrete jungles of like say Tokyo or Osaka, like those are, you know, there's not a whole lot of scenery, but it's still like, it still has its charm even in the concrete jungles. But like out in the like countryside is really where Japan shines, because like, oh my gosh, just mountains and forests and like rice paddies. Gosh, I miss Japan. I really want to go back. But yeah, this is such a pretty scene. I also want her nightgown. Like, that is a cute nightgown. It looks so comfy. Also, just how is Abigail so adorable? Like, everything about her is just so adorable. Yeah. Alright, ads are over. Let's get back to the story. After everything I've seen, fairies are downright mundane. I remember her mentioning them before too. I look around, wondering if I'd missed them hiding somewhere, but I don't see anything. Abigail laughs. Ugh. Abigail laughs.
Just as decorators. They aren't around right now. They much prefer the nighttime. They're far more active in the moonlight. You can still see traces of them, though.
As an example, she cups one of the icicle-like baubles that hang from the trees. Inside, a faint light beats like a heart, dim enough to be invisible in the daytime.
I'm sure they're around, watching. But I've only met them once myself. It may be years before you do.
There it is again. the promise of eternity spent like this. I bite my lip.
I think that's okay with me. I've had enough magic for 1 week.
Yes, understandable.
She walks back to the shore of the pond and sits down. I take a seat beside her.
Really though, thank you for bringing me here. It's nice.
I'm glad. I wanted to show you that not everything about it is bad. That unlife does have its own little moments of niceness.
I look at her, but she's staring pointedly away towards the pond. Her cheeks redden a little bit. Yeah, the music matches the scene really well too.
Unlife is a good word for it.
Do you think so? I worried before you woke up that I would have forgotten how to speak or forgotten words. I talked to myself to keep in practice, waiting for a day when I would meet someone again. That's also why I sing, so that I don't forget how much I enjoy it, even if nobody listens. I know that it's silly, but sometimes a bit of silliness can be what helps me keep going.
I don't think it's silly at all. Besides, if I could sing like you, then I'm sure I'd do it all the time too.
Thank you for the 6-month sub, Pie. Yes, gay, homosexual, gay. This is a very gay game, and I'm very gay. You're also very gay. How are you doing, Pie?
I could teach you if you'd like.
Oh no, you don't know what you're getting into. I'm pretty sure I'm unteachable when it comes to singing. You'd have birds flying miles away instead of coming to listen.
She laughs. You're scheming about this weekend? Nice. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good and exciting.
Come now, I'm sure it can't be that bad. I knew nothing of singing when I first started. I simply practiced and practiced. Everything gets better with practice and time.
My singing voice has got to be the one exception.
Moopy is a cute gay. My middle school choir teacher even told me that there was no way I would ever be a singer. It was one of the most traumatic days of my 12 short years back then.
In all of existence?
Out of everything.
In that case, I suppose I must hear it, just to know. You can't promise something like that and then not demonstrate.
No way. Not happening.
What if we sang a duet?
That's just... Asking to sing a duet is just singer talk for a wedding proposal. She just proposed to marry Maddie.
Definitely not.
Oh no, Maddie rejected the marriage proposal.
Oh, you're no fun.
She playfully swipes at my shoulder.
Are there any instruments that you do enjoy? Any that I've heard of, that is?
Piano. I've taken lessons since I was a little girl.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I miss it.
I flex my fingers, staring down at them, remembering the feeling of keys. Even before coming out here, it had been a while since I played. I don't think I ever consciously stopped. It just happened over time.
Most of the time, the only music I'd have the opportunity to listen to was during prayers, or the occasional traveling performer. Sometimes I'd convince Mr. Braun, who played the organ, to show me some of the pieces he'd learned in the city.
She says this with a sly smile, sharing some private joke with me.
Do you remember the names of any of the pieces? I wonder if I've heard of them.
Oh yes, there was...
She bites her nail, thinking about it.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
She squirms, wiggling around like she's hoping the memory will fall into place. Finally, she shakes her head.
Maybe not. It seems I've forgotten. Do you think there's a chance, though? Are you very familiar with songs from, well, my time?
Some of them, yeah. A lot of the most famous and respected composers come from those days. From this part of the world, too.
Abigail sighs wistfully and looks off into the distance.
I'm glad to hear that. They must be magnificent to be remembered so many years later.
Thank you for the fetch, Ryoko.
How nice that must be, to leave behind a legacy, to be missed.
To be missed. The way she says it is wistful, a dreamy sigh, like something that she longs for. Yeah, Arf. I was barking because Ryoko was playing fetch with me. I glance over, half expecting her to be crying, but her face is steady and calm. She catches me looking and smiles.
I'm sorry. I'm just feeling a little nostalgic.
You don't need to apologize. I like hearing what's on your mind.
This song that's playing right now... it's either my favorite or second favorite song in this game. 'Cause, it's so good. It's so beautiful.
I'm glad. It would be rather unfortunate if, after everything, we didn't get along.
We both laugh at the idea.
I do have another question, though. A personal one. I know you said I can ask you anything, but...
I meant it. Please, go ahead.
Well, before, you said that you've never even tried to... go back. Escape. Whatever the right word for it would be. Why is that? Doesn't it bother you, being stuck like this?
Abigail scratches at the soft dirt beneath us. Of course, her fingers move impotently through it, changing nothing.
If you don't want to answer, that's okay.
I don't mind. I'm just thinking of what to say. So, I suppose that you've been thinking about it a lot, right? How to... go back.
I nod.
Almost constantly. I don't know if it's possible or anything, but... Don't get me wrong, I'm beyond grateful that you saved me at all. But it feels like... like we're so close to being alive, but not.
Yeah, this entire game is beautiful. Like, everything about it. It's beautifully written. It's got beautiful art, beautiful music. And it makes me feel beautiful emotions. Wait,
Almost don't get me wrong,
I
I'm beyond grateful that you saved me at all. But it feels like... like we're so close to being alive, but not.
So apparently the scroll wheel... Pie. Apparently, the scroll wheel actually works in this game. I accidentally touched it, and it is scrolled through the text.
Everything's changed, but at the same time, it's like nothing has. I don't feel much different, but everything's different. I have a whole life out there. Or at least I did. I can't just forget about it. Or move on, or give up, or something.
I understand.
She's quiet, and I wonder if I went too far. If I asked something that I shouldn't have. In a lot of ways, it's one of the most intimate and personal questions I could possibly ask. Then she shifts around to face me better.
I didn't have much left once I moved on. My family and those I care about. I had no desire to return to them. And then time started to pass. At first the days felt slow, torturously slow. I did nothing but sit around and mope, never straying far from the forest spirit who had saved me. But then I started to explore more, to get to know the forest, find moments of happiness. I was still terribly lonely, of course. It has been, until you got here. But I can honestly say that I didn't hate it. I sang, I watched, I found my own joy where I could. Eventually, time left me behind. The people I had known grew old and died. I'm sure many forgot about me long before I forgot about them. At some point, there was nothing for me to want to go back to. The rest of the world outside this forest is just a maze that I don't know how to navigate. Here in the forest, I know nearly all there is to know. There's no grief or loss or pain. There's just peace.
Before I can respond, she stands up, brushing away imaginary dirt from her gown.
Would you feel up for another walk through the woods? Perhaps this time I can show you where the wisest, most handsome-looking owl nests. It's been so long since I've said hello to him.
She offers me a hand. I take it in the obvious subject change that she helps me to my feet.
Sure. Let's go.
With a smile, she leads me back towards the trees. So many of the conversations that I have with Abigail are painful reminders. Either of the years of solitude she endured, or of what I can look forward to in my own future. Both make me certain of one thing. I'm glad she's here with me. And we swap back over to Morgan. It's been days since Evelyn attacked Tara, since Geladora spoke to her. Days of fruitless searching for Maddie, and Tara is still trying to act like she's okay. She pores over every piece of local history we can find. She makes jokes, she tells stories. She pretends she isn't losing hope every day we don't find Maddie. She's lying. Aw, I love you too, Pie. You're so sweet. You're amazing. Thank you for the fetch. It's her body that tells the truth. She pulls me closer when she's under me. She stays in my arms for longer than she did before. I doubt she even notices she's doing it. But years spent hiding my emotions have made me pretty good at spotting it in someone else. Is she doing it for me? For herself? Both? That's the only thing I still don't know.
Morgan?
I can hear Tara's voice calling back from the kitchen. I smell the smoke a second later. I'm out of the bedroom before I realize I'm moving. My mind fills up with a million possibilities. What if Evelyn's already here? What if the cabin's burning? What if... And I clicked through the fucking thing again. I think I owe you a new pan. Tara is fidgeting nervously. A cloud of black smoke billows from the pan on the stove. I can't even tell what was supposed to be in it. Whatever it was, it's charcoal now.
You guys don't have, like, a fire extinguisher in here, right?
I let out a breath I was holding. I shouldn't have panicked like that. I'm just glad she's okay.
We don't need one. Let me see that.
I walk past her and grab the pan. Before she can say anything, I open the door and toss whatever was in the pan into the snow. I run a rag under the tap and toss it to her.
Why don't you get the smoke off the wall before it stains? I'll take care of this.
I'm still coming down from my adrenaline. I have to make a conscious effort to say it as gently as possible. I don't want her to think I'm mad at her. She seems happy being given something to do. She smiles and tries to salute, but with the wrong hand, and ends up slapping herself in the face with the wet rag. I swear she does stuff like that on purpose sometimes. While Tara scrambles to duty, I start washing out the charred remains still clinging to the pan. After a few moments, Tara shuffles nervously behind me.
You don't cook much, do you?
Does not cooking at all fall under not cooking much? Because if so, yeah.
Then why did you...
Her eyes flick towards the counter I follow her gaze. There's a tray sitting there. It's a mess. A piece of clumsily sliced fruit, a cup of liquid, blackened toast.
You were making me breakfast.
Tara looks guilty.
Yeah, well, you know.
She looks down and starts fidgeting with her shirt.
I figure that since we're leaving the cabin, it'd be a waste to just leave it here. And, I don't know, you've been really helpful and stuff. And I thought maybe I could pay you back a bit. But I just wasted the food anyway.
Following her gaze, yep. My mind reels. I can't utter a single sound. I don't really have any friends. The few people I'm on good terms would never do something like this. Evelyn stopped preparing meals for me the instant I could make them for myself. And even when she did, they weren't much more than leftovers of whatever she made for herself.
It was a dumb idea. Sorry.
Tara and Morgan confirm their feelings for each other with a tearful kiss. My body moves on its own. My arms outstretch and wrap around her. Before I know it, I'm reaching up to her face and pressing my lips against hers. The minute I actually process what I'm doing, I pull away and drop my arms to my sides. We both stand there awkwardly for a moment before I'm able to speak.
Thank you.
You're thanking me for screwing up making breakfast?
I'm thanking you for trying.
Oh, right. I guess that makes sense.
I doubt someone like her would understand why this means so much to me. She has good people in her life. Random acts of kindness must be commonplace for her. But for me, I've never been treated as anything but a tool. I've spent years turning the idea in my head, thinking that I deserved it. It was easy enough to believe. So this moment means more to me than I could possibly say. Even if I actually knew how to talk to people, I couldn't do it. The best I can do is try to repay it in kind.
Maybe we could make something together? After all your videos have taught me, I'd be happy to teach you a few things in return.
Are you sure? I mean, I literally know nothing about cooking. All I do is slow you down.
She's protesting, but the smile on her face makes it clear just how much she really wants to do this. Seeing that grin in person is way more radiant than seeing it through a screen.
That's okay. I'll take the lead, and we can go slow.
I take her hand again. She squeezes it, and I squeeze back.
Now, let's start with teaching you how to use a stove without burning the house down.
That's probably a good one to know, yeah?
I grab some sausages from the fridge and toss them into the now clean pan before putting it back on the stove.
Okay, so you're going to want to have the heat a little lower than the absolute maximum for this one.
I figured the higher it went, the faster it would cook.
Technically, you're right, but that's also how you burn things beyond recognition.
I move behind her and put my hand on the pan handle, pressing against her back to move her hand side to side.
Keeping it in motion is a good way to make sure it cooks evenly.
Right, cool.
I take her through the basics. She handles instructions surprisingly well. It helps that she's eager to learn. After the sausage, we move to toast, then coffee. She's sloppy, but she makes it work.
You're doing great. I'm impressed.
Well, doing it with you is a pretty effective motivator.
Very subtle.
When am I anything but?
We finish up the eggs, then sit down to eat. She powers through her meal, finishing before I'm even halfway through.
Holy shit! That was so good!
Looks like you're a better cook than you thought.
Oh please, that was like 25% me at most. But thank you. I definitely learned enough to surprise Mads when she gets back.
The mention of Maddie instantly sucks some of the joy from the room. Nice as this has been, I know it's only temporary shelter from the clouds still looming over our heads. Her smile doesn't falter at all, but I can see her eyes twitch slightly after she speaks. I wish I could think of something reassuring to say. I'd try just agreeing with her, but I know how hollow it would sound. But once again, she pushes it back inside. I know how that feels. Although, I have a much harder time smiling afterwards.
And the best part is that we don't have to wash any of the dishes since we're leaving after this.
We're washing the dishes.
Oh, come on!
She reluctantly drags herself over to the sink. I remain seated and continue eating. A few seconds later, Tara reappears casually.
Hey, quick question. It should be okay if we leave Maddie's stuff here, right? I'd hate for her to come back and be missing all her super important films.
It should be fine. With us out of the way, Evelyn won't have any reason to focus on the cabin anymore.
Hey, Morgan, can you come here for a sec?
I jog down the hallway to find her staring at a hefty black bag sitting in the hall.
What's that?
It's Mads' camera equipment. I was just thinking that maybe we should shoot a video before we leave.
Like, film an episode?
Not quite. More like a summary of what's happened, for reference. Kinda like a black box in a plane. That way, if... That way there'll be a record. Something that could help anyone else who decides to look into this.
A dead drop.
She flinches at the term. It's probably a bit too morbid for her liking.
It's worth a shot. I can help you film it.
Are you sure? That's a professional quality camera. Even I don't know how half the shit it does works. That's Maddie's domain.
I'm sure I can figure something out. It can't be too hard to get the basics down.
I grab the bag and sling it over my shoulder, then grab the tripod with my other hand.
All right, let's get to work. Okay, so, wait, let me...
Hang on, I think I've got it.
No, that's just going to access the archive. We need to get the focus right for the main shoot.
Things aren't going well. Neither of us can figure out how to work the camera. My only contribution has been getting it on the tripod. Most of the terms Tara's using fly over my head. She claims that Maddie's the only one who knows all about how to make it work, but even her limited understanding is worlds away from mine.
I'm sorry. I wish I could do more.
Don't sweat it, you're doing fine.
Lie.
Maddie never taught me much. She, makes the videos. I just do the talking.
Yeah, we don't actually have any music on right now. It's just like sound effects of wind in the background. Her voice is quiet. Maybe this was a bad idea. All it seems to be doing is making her miss Maddie even more. And I'm sure as hell not good enough to replace her. At least I finally managed to get the camera to a point where it's actually filming.
Oh shit, you got it!
She's humoring me. The picture isn't even close to being in focus, and I somehow managed to make the colors even more washed out than this place already is. It doesn't look anything like her most recent videos.
I can do better. There are still settings I haven't tried.
Tara claps me on the back. A bit too hard. She's so obvious.
Don't worry about it. The stuff is confusing. Maybe the blur will make it look more mysterious or something.
Sure.
She leans against a tree in front of the camera. On her signal, I hit what I hope is record. I give her a slight nod, and she's off.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to a very special Not Quite an Episode of Terranormal. We've had a lot of crazy shit go down in the past couple weeks, so Morgan and I are putting this together to make sure we don't miss anything.
Thank you for the hydrate, Moopy.
Who's Morgan, you ask? She's our inside woman, as they say. We wouldn't have found any of the stuff I'm about to tell you about if not for her, and she's been a hell of an assistant, too. Mads would be manning the camera right now, but, she's not here right now. It's complicated.
Her voice dips for a moment before launching back into her professional cheeriness.
So, where to begin? Well, I suppose I should start with a little story about a spirit, also known as the only time I've had fun in church.
She launches into her story without having to take a single moment to think about it. I feel like I'm watching her transform in front of me. Her uncertainty is gone. Her anxiety is gone. That melancholy she's had inside her since Maddie disappeared is gone. It's like she's glowing. And that, my friends, is called... doing what you love, I guess. It's kind of like... With how much practice Tara has had in doing Terranormal, the relaxation she gets when she gets into the zone of doing her thing is exactly what I feel when I just hit start streaming and be a VTuber. Like, granted, she's got a lot more practice than I do. She's been doing this for however many years. I've been doing it for, like, 3 on and off with a couple hiatuses in there, but still, like, that's the vibe, It's just like, when you start the stream, it's just like, you're in the zone. Like, everything feels good. Everything feels right when you're in the zone. I wish I could tell her how wonderful it is to see, but I know I'd never be able to say something like that.
Anyway, that's pretty much all we have right now. Hopefully Mads will be back soon.
I hear her voice shake for a fraction of a second. She corrects it instantly, but I know I heard it. Yeah, like you and drawing. Like, really, it is just like, whatever skill you've taken up, like, whenever you get into the zone of doing that skill, like, it just feels right. Like, that skill could be teaching, it could be reading, it could be writing, it could be drawing, it could be streaming, it could be recording videos for YouTube, it could be editing videos. Like, there's so many possibilities that, like, anyone can just, like, have that zone.
I'm not gonna lie, there's some bad shit out here. Maddie got caught up in it somehow, but it's nothing that's gonna last. Am I in danger too? Sure, but that's nothing new for me. You're talking to a girl who nearly got eaten by a bear because park rangers suck at their jobs. I'm just making this so we don't have as much to go over when we find her. The dry air out here is killer on my throat, so I could use the help.
She coughs loudly. I'm not sure if it's real or just for emphasis.
And Evelyn, if you find this, know that we're gonna make you pay for what you did.
Her voice breaks again. This time, it's unmistakable. Maybe this was a bad idea. She takes a minute before she starts talking again. Her voice is shaky. Her face is a strange expression I've never seen before.
I'll do whatever I have to do, If you're watching, I want you to know that. Can you just give me my friend back? Can you just do that now?
Tears begin to flow down Tara's cheeks as she begins to crumble as she continues speaking.
I'll do anything, I swear. I don't care if we don't find any more evidence. I don't need anything else from this trip.
I love you too, Moopy. Aww. You're sweet. You're a great friend.
I just want Maddie back.
Aww. I just can't watch this anymore. I leave the camera and run to her side. I throw my arms around her and I feel her body sink into mine.
I'm sorry, Tara. I'm so sorry.
I wrap my arms tighter as I feel her legs give out. It's all I can do to keep her upright as she starts to sob into my shoulder. Unease settles in my chest. I've never had to do anything like this before. Yeah, she's kind of having a redemption arc. Honestly, it's, like, Maddie and Tara deal with conflict in different ways, and, like, Tara tends to be a lot more in the, like, kind of headstrong, pretend that she's completely okay and that she's completely in charge of everything. And then, like, but she still has a heart. Like, she loves her friend. She's worried about her friend. She probably, deep down inside her, knows that her friend is probably dead, but she's also, like, pushing through, trying to keep a strong face for herself and for Maddie and for Morgan, and yeah. But I have to try. I have to do something. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's drop a save spot. Because here we go. We actually have a decision here, chat. We have a decision to make. Okay, so here, I'm gonna make a poll real quick. Let's see. So what's it? Yeah, I should let her mourn, keep her strong. Okay. There we go. And it doesn't have to be a super long poll. Alright, the poll should be up. 1 minute. 1 minute. Go ahead and cast your votes. What do you think we should do here, chat? Because for the most part, the story... Well, like, not for the most part. Literally, the story has been entirely linear up until this point. Now, with here we are, like, we actually have to make a decision. Which kind of makes me think that this decision is, like, important, because up until now we haven't been asked to make one. So, yeah, what do y'all think? Last few seconds to cast your result. I do have a preference in mind, but I'll let y'all choose, and if we need a tiebreaker, I can be the tiebreaker. Okay, the poll has ended, and it's a tie, as in no one voted for anything. So I can be the tiebreaker, though. I personally think that... Oh, here we go. Yeah, we have to keep fighting, or she needs this. So, setting aside whatever long-term consequences this could have for the story, it is my personal belief that people should be allowed to mourn when they're feeling loss. Like, as much as, you know, we might feel the urge to lift people up and be like, no, it's okay, just keep pushing through, just keep fighting, you know, everything's gonna be okay. Really sometimes what we just need to do is just process things. Like, my friend is probably dead. I need to understand that. I need to process that. So, that's my personal belief. So, I don't know what consequences this decision will have, but I feel like we should let her mourn. So, let's do that. Everything that's happened has been my fault. There's probably nothing I could say that would make up for this. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. Just hold her like this. Physical comfort is all I'm good at, after all. I'll take care of her. It's the least I can do. I lower her down to the ground slowly. I don't even feel the snow on me.
Take your time. Getting it out will help.
This is all such bullshit. Why would she take Mads? She wasn't causing any trouble.
She grabs handfuls of my sweater, where her hands rest against me. I don't stop her.
I could have helped her. I could have talked this out with her, but I didn't. And because of that, I
squeeze her tighter. There's nothing else I can do. I give up on thinking of something to say. I'm better at saying nothing anyway.
should have let her stay home. I should have listened to her when we were out here.
She pulls away from me and sits down in the snow. Then she smiles. It's a bitter, broken smile. The kind of smile you can only form when you don't know what else to do.
I just keep ruining things, huh?
Tara, you aren't the reason the two of you came here. I was. This is on me.
She has to know I'm right deep down. I don't want her to hate me, but I'd much rather she hate me than hate herself. So, I hold Tara. I hold her with as much tenderness as I can, and she breaks into heaving sobs on my shoulder. I feel her body rocking with loss and pain, and her hot tears fall and freeze on the ground below us. I let her feel the extent of her grief. It's a pain I can never understand, the pain of losing someone important to you. Excuse me. Meeting Tara, I've only just started to know what that bond is like, but it can't compare to what she has with Maddie. Tara's wailing grows muffled as she buries her face in my chest and hugs me tightly. Hesitantly, I stroke her hair in return. Time passes. Eventually, Tara grows quiet. She sniffles and shakes in my arms, but relaxes with each breath. I never found any words to say. We sit there together, until finally Tara lifts herself from me, her face red and puffy. She gives me a weak smile and wipes her face. I start to pack up the camera as she cleans herself up. It seems like this might have helped after all. I should probably just leave it be and head back with her. But one thought keeps burning in my head. I have to tell her.
Tara. I'm going to make sure you get Maddie back, no matter what.
She stares at me like I just spoke to her in another language. Then she finally gives me a smile that doesn't have an ounce of sorrow in it.
I know. If anyone can, it's you.
I'm not sure what she means by that. I hope she's not thinking of the same thing I am. She probably thinks I'm just talking big, like I'm some brave knight about to go kill a dragon. I wish that was true. But I'm thinking about the one way I know I can save her, the one way I know I can. And that's to give Evelyn what she wants. Me. Oh God. Oh God. Morgan? Don't do it. Like... like... okay, like... I get that you're blaming yourself for this, but, like... Morgan? Morgan, don't do anything stupid, okay, Morgan? Like... Like, seriously, don't do anything stupid. Because, like, here's the thing. Sure, letting Evelyn take over your body will, give you the power to maybe resurrect her. But even then, like, I mean, she's already dead. And the thing is, letting Evelyn take on the new host and continue the cycle will only continue the cycle. Like, Maddie is not the first person to get killed by someone like Evelyn. And she's not going to be the last if you continue the cycle. Don't give in, Morgan. Don't do something stupid. We don't talk on the ride back. Tara doesn't even fidget. I figured the wet pants would make sitting still even harder for her than it already is, but she's completely still. It isn't until we stop in the village that she speaks.
I hope you don't think I'm mad at you for bringing us out here.
You aren't?
Nah, I know you just wanted to make something good happen for all of us. Things just didn't work out that way is all. Besides,
Her voice trails off into mumbles. After a moment, she takes a deep breath and restarts.
Coming here meant I got to meet you. I'm sure as hell not complaining about that.
I'm sure you've met plenty of fans in person.
Yeah, but you're not just a fan. Not to me. You're a lot more than that.
What are you saying?
She suddenly looks away from me. I think she's trying to hide the fact that she's blushing. Poorly.
I don't know, just I haven't ever really met anyone like you before is all.
For a moment, strange thoughts fill my head. I want her to say more than that. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want it to be. I just want more. But I know better than to ask for that.
If it helps, I haven't met anyone like you before either.
Well, I could have told you that one. I am one of a kind, you know.
No argument there.
I'm having a hard time looking at her. I don't know why. This is a new feeling. I push it away and reach for the carriage door instead. There's a weird air in the carriage now.
Let's get inside. We still gotta figure out how much of your stuff we can fit in my closet.
I mean, I could just leave some of my clothes on the floor. That's what I do at home.
Okay, have a good lurk, Moopy.
Not happening. I like being able to see my floor.
Can't blame a girl for trying.
I can't help laughing. She laughs too. She's going to be okay. I know she will. And I'm going to make sure she stays that way. And now we swap back over to Maddie. By now, I've all but given up on being able to see Tara again. But I can't abandon the idea without at least trying to get through to her. She deserves to know that I'm okay. Or at least okay as I can be, given the circumstances. At first, Abigail was hesitant about interacting with others. I don't blame her. After 2 centuries of solitude, talking to 3 complete strangers within the course of a few days would be a pretty jarring shift. Despite that, she understands how important this is to me. She also warned me that she can't venture too far into the village itself. The magic of the forest only extends so far, and there's no telling what would happen to us if we went past it. Thank you for the stretch, posture, and hydrate. There we go. Okay. The border of the magic isn't clear-cut, so she made me promise to stay close to her. Just in case. I really am lucky to have someone as accommodating as her with me. Even if we fail, it means a lot that she's willing to try. I too... Wait, huh? I try to fill her in on what to expect from Tara and Morgan's personalities, doing my best to be as charitable as I can when telling her how likely Tara is to completely flip out when she sees a ghost. Once she's fully prepared, we make our way to the cabin. It's empty. There's not a trace that anyone has been here in days. All of Tara's things are gone. That's an instant relief. It seems like a planned exit.
Did you find something, Madison?
I can't help flinching as Abigail floats through the wall next to me. Incorporeality is one of those things I haven't been able to get used to.
I think so. It seems like the two of them went back to the village.
I don't even entertain the idea that she went home early or anything like that. It's not in her nature.
Do you think so? That sounds like it would be dangerous. Why would they put themselves in danger like that?
I have no idea. Hopefully we can ask them ourselves.
Abigail starts to back away, looking down at the ground.
Madison, of course I'll do my best to help you. But I feel like it would be remiss of me if I didn't warn you to not get your hopes up. It took me years to be able to manifest myself. The chances of you being able to communicate with them so soon are low.
That's okay. I didn't have much hope to begin with.
I don't like being this dour about things, but I don't see how else I'm supposed to feel. She looks stricken by my words, and I hastily try to gloss it over.
I mean, hey, you never know. If you can do it, maybe I can come along with you. The two of us together are bound to be able to accomplish more than we could on our own.
Together.
She looks down, grabbing handfuls of her gown. She agreed to come with me before, but it seems like she's having second thoughts.
What's wrong?
It's just that accompanying you would mean returning to Eisenfeld again. I haven't returned since, well...
Oh no. I'd never even thought to ask about that. I've tried to avoid talking about her death as much as possible. Strange as it sounds, it feels like it would be rude in a way. Invasive. But I should have at least checked with her before suggesting we make our way here.
I'm sorry, Abigail. I didn't mean to...
To my surprise, she hurries back towards me and nearly bumps her head against mine as she closes the gap between us.
You don't have to apologize, Madison. I agreed to help you, and I'm going to honor that commitment. Besides, maybe it could be good for me. I can't avoid going back there forever. And having you there will make the burden of memory much easier to bear.
Her conviction, combined with her invasion of my personal space, makes my face flush red, and for a moment it looks like she's worried she upset me. I give her the best smile I can manage. After years of making Tara normal, I'd hoped maybe a bit of Tara's charm and social skills would have rubbed off on me. They haven't.
If you say so. As long as you don't feel like I'm forcing you or anything.
Not at all. You've been nothing but kind to me, Madison. I want to repay that kindness.
If anything, I still feel like I'm indebted to her for saving my life. But I know she wouldn't see it that way. I've done my best to be polite, but I haven't exactly made any grand gestures of thanks to her.
Thank you, Abigail. Really.
Of course. Now then, shall we?
Lead the way.
Every time Tara and I visit Eisenfeld, we were stared at everywhere we went. Now, seeing everyone walk by Abigail and me without so much as a glance is surreal. And welcome to ads. We're gonna take a pause from reading while the ads play. My eyes are eepy. But I am loving this story. It's like, honestly, I'm just building up to the anticipation of Tara and Maddie being able to, like, well, I don't know about see each other. At least Maddie being able to see Tara, but, like, I also really want to see the anticipation of, like, Tara being able to, if not maybe see Maddie, at least, like, know that Maddie's there. I'm, like, really interested in what their reactions are gonna be. And I'm also really interested in, like, that decision that we made all the way back. Like, I think, basically, here's kind of my thought, is that, like, basically, it's entirely possible that we're headed towards a bad ending. Just because of what Morgan said, like, internally, her conviction that she is going to hand herself over to Evelyn to save Morgan, to save Maddie. Like, I have a feeling that conviction was tied to our decision. I'm not gonna assume immediately that's entirely what's gonna happen, but, like, I have a bad gut feeling. Like, after what Morgan said, comforting, or, like, yeah, letting Tara grieve, just not a great feeling. Also, side note, I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I've been, like, kind of semi doing voices. Like, I haven't been fully able to, like, replicate their voices, obviously, but, like, I have been, like, changing my voice up for voicing Maddie versus voicing Tara, and not Tara. Well, Tara too, but we only got to be Tara for a little bit. But Maddie versus Morgan, like, and the Morgan voice is kind of hard to do. It wears on me. Anyway, Abigail gazes at the buildings as we pass by, occasionally pointing out ones she remembers from her time. Her voice is a strange mix of excitement and melancholy. I'm not sure if I should encourage her mood or try to comfort her. As we enter the town square, we start to encounter large groups of people. Each time one passes close by, Abigail grabs onto my arm and moves closer to me. Is she scared of crowds, or is it something about the villagers themselves that has her shaking? I'm tempted to ask her, but I think better of it. For all I know, this fear could be connected to the way she died. My mind runs wild with possibilities. Maybe she was burned as a witch, or cast out of the village. This definitely isn't helping. I need to focus. Also, my thoughts... So, like, based off that statement she just made, maybe she was burned as a witch. At least from my understanding, and I'm not in any way an expert on paganism, but this village seems to be pagan, or at least it has very pagan roots, and I don't think pagans burned witches. I think that was a Christian thing. So, I don't think that assumption holds any weight to it, but yeah. Thankfully, it's not too long before we reach Morgan's house. I just hope they're here, and more importantly, I hope we can reach them.
Are you ready, Abigail?
I'm ready. Let's go.
We pass through the wall and into the kitchen. And there they are. Tara and Morgan sharing breakfast, close enough to touch. I'd give nearly anything to be able to hug them right now. And this song that's playing right now, Isolation, is like... It's like tied for my favorite song. There was the song that was playing back in like that grove. And then there's this song, and they're both so good. Oh wait, is it the same song? I actually have no idea. I wish I'd seen the title of the song that played in the grove. My feelings are a mixture of guilt and elation, and worry. But more than anything, I'm glad she's okay. Both her and Morgan. I need to talk to Tara. There's so much I need to say and ask.
Tara! Can you hear me?
Morgan, this is delicious. How the hell do you know how to make all this stuff?
Apparently she can't. She doesn't even look in my direction.
Most of it I picked up from older folks in the village. The rest I pieced together from random cooking videos.
When all this is said and done, remind me to give those channels a shout out in an episode, because this rules.
I try waving my hands in front of their faces, hoping that maybe movement will convey what my voice clearly can't. Once again, no reaction. Morgan leans towards Tara, passing right through my hand.
Maybe you'll learn enough while you're here to make a few cooking videos yourself.
Are you asking because you actually think that'd be good, or do you just want to see another video where I almost burned my house down?
Morgan shrugs and gives Tara a small smirk. When Tara chuckles in response, I feel another surge of sadness. I knew I shouldn't have expected this to work right away, but I'm still crestfallen. Having them this close hurts in a way I couldn't have imagined. All the time I spent feeling ignored while I was alive seems so trivial compared to this.
So what's the plan for today? Got anywhere in town we might be able to hit up for local lore?
Most of the official records of town history are sealed up in Evelyn's office, so those are off the table. But we might have some luck checking out older buildings around town. She's done a good job of cleaning up evidence of what Eisenfeld used to be, but maybe you'll notice something I didn't.
Sure, I mean, it's worth a shot.
Her voice barely contains a trace of the fire I'm so used to. I have to hope that at least the remaining trace is a sign she'll regain the fire someday. At least she's not alone. Morgan reaches over and puts her hand on Tara's shoulder, squeezing gently. When she speaks, her words are soft and strained.
Are you going to be okay?
What do you mean?
After yesterday, if you need some time to rest, nobody's going to blame you.
Tara looks down at her feet. I can't read her expression, but the low volume of her voice tells me all I need to know. A quiet Tara is a worrying rarity.
I mean, I guess a little time off could help me, as long as we get right back to looking for Mads afterwards.
Of course.
I feel like I should be hurt that she's not focusing on finding me, but I'm not. I'm just glad that she's got someone with her to keep her from burning herself out. I still don't feel any kind of power within me that I could use to manifest myself. Abigail's my only hope. I turn to her, trying to keep my voice level despite my desperation.
Abigail, do you think you can manifest? Even if I can't reach them, maybe you can.
Abigail nods, but she's frowning. My heart wasn't exactly soaring, but I can feel it sink even further.
I'll try, but whatever power I had that allowed me to appear to you has felt much weaker since I used it to save you.
Abigail closes her eyes and starts to lift higher off the ground. As I watch, I feel a strange feeling in the air around me. As if it's bending around her, being pulled aside so she can step through the border between our worlds. For a moment, it seems like it's actually working. I'm trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to say when I feel the energy in the air start to fade. Abigail seems to be struggling, furrowing her brows as she sways in the air. Her face scrunches and guilt stabs me like a knife. Is she in pain?
Abigail, stop. It's okay.
Maybe if I just try a little harder.
I reach out and gently take her hand, lowering her to the ground. She opens her eyes, breathing hard. As much as I want to see Tara, it's not worth making her feel like this.
It's okay. I promise. We can try again some other time.
Abigail gives a faint nod and stares down at her feet. Her hands ball into fists as her shoulders rise and fall. Hi, Alpha.
I'm so sorry, Madison. I don't understand why this is happening.
There aren't any rulebooks for this sort of thing. I don't blame you for not knowing about things most people think are impossible to begin with.
The disappointment I'm feeling takes a backseat to concern for Abigail's well-being. I've already put her through a lot by making her come here in the first place.
We knew beforehand that this was a long shot. I'm just happy I got to see them again.
Are you sure?
I'm not, but I know that if I tell her that, she'll want to try again. It's better this way.
I'm sure. You've done more than enough by coming with me.
It's going pretty good. I am totally absorbed into the story. Heart of the Woods is such a good visual novel. So good, in fact, that it actually got me to play a visual novel for once. I've never actually played a visual novel before this one. It's so. I look back to Tara and Morgan, taking what I pray isn't my final glance at them. To my surprise, Tara is leaning against Morgan's shoulder, while Morgan's arm is wrapped around her back in a loose hug.
Thank you. As messed up as all this is, I'm glad that you're the one helping me get through it.
Tara's voice is soft, and it carries a vulnerability I don't think I've ever heard from her before.
Same here. We make a good team.
Tara raises her head to look at Morgan, their faces inches apart.
We should have a team name, like the Dream Team or something.
We'll work on it.
I already had a feeling that the two of them had something going on before all this happened. I'm not that surprised if I'm being honest. Stuff like this has never happened before with her. But it's always a one-night stand or some kind of quick fling. Never the kind of thing that would merit real vulnerability. Then again, she's never been in a situation like this before. Maybe losing me brought out a part of her I never knew she had. As if in response to my thoughts, Morgan leans forward and kisses Tara. It's a lot more than a simple peck on the lips. This is something deeper. So deep, in fact, that I have to turn away. It seems wrong to spy on something that's intimate. Next to me, Abigail has also turned away. Her face is a bright crimson, and her hands are close to her chest. I didn't stop to consider that this was the first act of intimacy she'd seen in 2 centuries. For all I know, this could be the first time she's ever seen 2 women kiss.
You okay?
She looks up at me, slightly alarmed.
Yes. I'm okay. I just wasn't prepared for something like that.
Trust me, I wasn't either.
Abigail pauses for a moment, closing her eyes and taking a calming breath. A small smile crosses Abby's face as she blushes, her wide eyes softening.
It is nice though, isn't it? A love like that can give someone incredible strength.
Yeah, I'm happy for them.
I really am. Maybe this will help her cope better now that I'm gone.
But we should probably go. I feel really weird being here for this.
Of course. Maybe we can try this again another time.
Her words lack conviction, but she doesn't protest. I'll have to think of some ways to cheer her up once we get back to the church.
Hey, do you want to maybe...
The front door creaks open. All 4 of us freeze as we face the entrance. Evelyn stalks in and slams the door behind her. She doesn't say anything, but neither do Tara and Morgan. Tara's shaking, and Morgan places a protective arm in front of her as she glares at her mother. I shiver too, desperately wanting to look away, but feeling unable to. A part of me screams to do something, anything to get her away from Morgan and Tara. Yet, there's a stronger part of me screaming, I need to leave. I need to get out of here. But I feel just as frozen as the day I died. I feel Abigail on my arm, pulling me backwards. She pulls my body through the connecting wall, and only when Evelyn is out of my vision can I breathe again. Abigail presses against me, just as stunned as I am. I try to keep calm, telling myself that she doesn't even know we're here, that she can't hurt me anymore. Evelyn passes through the door and by the corner where Abigail and I are lurking. And she stops. Slowly, her head turns to look where we are, where there's otherwise just empty space. She's so close that I can see her face contort in recognition and shock.
Madison!
I jerk my hand towards Abigail to see that she's already starting to head for the wall, waving for me to follow her. It's enough to snap me out of my trance. I run to her, casting a backward glance at Evelyn to make sure she isn't following us. She doesn't move, but her eyes track us as we run. Right before I pass through the wall, her mouth opens.
How?
I don't stick around to find out what she says next. Abigail and I run as fast as we can, phasing through buildings and people with reckless abandon. After what we just saw, all other fears feel inconsequential. By the time we're back in the forest, it's clear that Evelyn has no interest in pursuing us. For now, at least.
Madison, are you okay?
She puts her hand on my shoulder, pulling me closer to her. My heart throbs painfully and my breathing is shaky, but her touch grounds me.
I'm not sure, but I'm a lot better now that we have some distance between us and her.
I look backwards towards the village, half expecting her to come flying at us like some kind of demon.
She saw us, Abigail. How is that possible?
Abigail looks down at the ground, and I realize she's shaking as hard as I am.
I wish I knew. Madison, she said something to you before we left, didn't she?
Yeah, I didn't catch all of it, but I think I know what she was going to say. She looked shocked when she saw us. Confused, even. I think she didn't know about us being out here.
Abigail's voice is barely above a whisper when she speaks. Her face is drained of color.
But now she does.
The message is clear. As long as Evelyn is in Eisenfeld, we can't be. I'm sorry, Tara. I'm sorry, Morgan. But it looks like you're on your own. Oh, and now we get to be Abby. Ooh, how do I do an Abby? I've got a Maddie voice and a Morgan voice. I can, like, kind of vaguely attempt at doing a Tara voice. How would an Abby voice be? Like, she's very soft-spoken, kind of like this. So I think kind of like a wistful, soft-spoken, yeah, I think this works. The midday sun sits high in the sky, setting everything aglitter. The vibrant music of the forest, the pitter-patter of dripping snow, the chitter-chatter of birds, and the accompanying breeze is especially loud today. The events of yesterday are a forgotten nightmare, and so today must be a dream come true. Madison stands with her back to me into the church, facing the forest. Her head is tilted back ever so slightly. For the first time, she looks truly at peace. For the briefest moment, she's framed by the sunlight. Then, perhaps, sensing me watching, she turns around and smiles at me, and I can't help but smile back. Without a doubt, the past several days have been the happiest of my extraordinarily long existence.
Good morning. Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I did. It's getting a bit easier.
That's wonderful.
I know that it isn't true, that she tossed and turned and sighed until early in the morning. I know, but I understand. Whatever it takes for her to feel more comfortable, more at home, I wish that I knew how to help. For me, sleep was the last thing on my mind after I passed. I explored endlessly, backtracking over and over again until I knew every step of these woods. I made the most of my situation as best I could, and rather well, if I do say so myself.
What would you like to do today?
Let's go back to that forest clearing. The one where the fairies live? I'd like to see it again.
My soul sings. That out of everywhere we've been, that would be the place she wants to return. I rush to her side, drawn to her presence like a magnet. Simply being near her makes me happy. A part of my mind screams at me that I don't deserve it. The same way that she doesn't deserve to be so miserable. Still, I put on my brightest smile as I touch her arm.
That sounds perfect. I'd like nothing better. Shall we go now?
Yeah, sure.
As is tradition, I lead the way out of the church and towards the forest. The trees and branches part invitingly familiar and old. I ask the forest to take us to the clearing, and I can feel it ripple in response. Not physically, but in my heart. I know that the forest is listening. It's difficult to explain. So much of this existence has become habit and routine for me that I keep taking for granted the difficulties Madison must be going through. The emotional turmoil, coupled with the way her own understanding of the universe itself keeps changing. I feel another pain in my heart at that. The stab of guilt once more for her for enjoying her presence. Madison accompanies me unhesitatingly, her steps more confident than they used to be. We walk side by side. I relish the closeness. I wonder if it even crosses her mind. When we reach the clearing, Madison sighs contentedly, relaxed and easy. A tranquil expression settles on her face. Like a masterpiece of art, I'd spend the whole day appreciating that look if I could. The grove's serenity is contagious. I also feel a little more at peace here. We head for the shore of the pond, as still and glassy as ever.
I really love it here. It's so calm.
I nod. Of course we've discussed it before, but I don't mind. I could listen to her talk about anything for any amount of time.
It actually reminds me of somewhere back at home. There's a little lake near where Tara and I live. Sometimes I like to go and sit down there to think. There are a ton of geese and ducks around too. Sometimes they won't leave you alone, so you just have to ignore them.
I envision a flock of birds surrounding Madison, all quacking and vying for her attention.
Maybe they want you to sing to them too.
Madison laughs, sweet and subtle. It's the most beautiful sound in the world.
Nah, they just want food. It's really popular to go down and feed them. Moms do it with their kids a lot. But then the birds get so used to it that they think every human has frozen peas for them.
They must be disappointed quite often then.
Yeah.
She trails off, looking wistful. I'm sure that she's thinking of home. I try to not ask her much about her life before I met her, because I know that the memories hurt. To my surprise, though, Madison clears her throat and continues talking.
I wish that you could see it someday. My home, I mean, in America. I think you'd like it there.
I'm sure that I would. I'd love to see any place that you care so much about. All of the buildings and the lights.
I try to envision what it might be like, but it's futile. There's so much that I don't know, so many things that I haven't seen. trying to imagine it is like trying to imagine a color that I've never seen before. No matter what she says, it's impossible to visualize. In the memories I have of the few times... yawn. Even the memories that I have of the few times I left Eisenfeld have long since faded. To me, the only world that exists now is the forest.
I keep thinking, in your time, what would I have been like? Would I be the same person if I never fell in love with films?
Films?
Oh, uh, it's... It's like a play that you can watch anytime. They're really compelling.
I see.
Madison moves her arms a little, looking like she wants to say more, but eventually just shakes her head. She smiles a bit sadly.
There are so many things like that. Films or events in history that are so normal to me, but that I keep forgetting you don't know about. So if I ever say anything that makes no sense at all, I can try to explain.
There are a lot of things I've wondered about, it's true. For instance, sometimes I'll see great noisy machines up in the sky. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Madison giggles again, but I don't know why.
Yeah, those are called airplanes. They're kind of like giant carriages that carry people around. That's how we got from America to here.
What? Don't tease me like that. There's no way something like that could fly.
No, it's true. It's really true. They're the fastest way to get around the world. There are also these things called cars, which are much smaller and only fit a few people. But most people own their own car and use it to get around.
Do you have one?
I do.
Why not use that to cross the ocean?
She laughs again, and I don't know why. At first I feel embarrassed. The gulf of knowledge that I lack nearly as wide as the ocean that she claims to have crossed. But then she steps closer, placing her arms around me in a light hug. Again, I don't know why. But it's lovely. I feel myself relaxing, leaning against her arms and just enjoying the closeness, the comfort, the affection. Far too soon, Madison relaxes, and I regretfully pull away from her. She gazes up at the sky, and for a brief moment, I anticipate another lesson about the modern world.
I've been thinking a lot about what you said the other day. About how you've never wanted to leave this place.
Yes, I'm far too cowardly for that.
And in many other ways too.
I don't think that's cowardly at all. It's difficult to leave behind what you know and what feels safe. In fact, it's really scary. I know that the two don't really compare, but before I decided to quit Terra's show, I felt the same way. Like I was afraid to leave, just because I was so used to it being part of my life. But I decided that if I wasn't happy with how things were, that I should just take the risk and change something. Everyone has those worries, though. That doesn't make you a coward.
Madison half smiles, the side of her mouth curling up just a little bit.
If we ever do find a way out of here, maybe you could come back to America with me.
She's joking. I'm sure that she doesn't mean it, or at least not fully. And yet, my heart flutters like a bird taking flight. Even after everything that's happened, that she'd even have concern for someone like me. She truly is the most extraordinary person I've met. And as happy as her offer makes me, It hurts like a knife in my heart, because I know it could never be. I wouldn't deserve that kind of happiness anyway. Still, I smile back in kind.
That might be nice. Would I have to ride on an airplane?
Oh, definitely. People don't really take boats across the ocean for travel anymore. Not nearly as much. Pretty much everyone flies.
Isn't that scary? How does something so heavy manage to stay up in the air?
It's kind of scary the first few times, but you get used to it. As for how it's possible, well, there's all sorts of science behind it, but that would take too long to explain. Anyway, though, you could stay with me and Tara. We've got plenty of space. Or we could help you find your own apartment. There's a lot you'd have to learn about the modern world, of course, but it'd be worth it, and we could help you learn.
Madison continues on, explaining this and that procedure we'd have to go through and how we'd overcome each obstacle. I play my part, smiling and nodding along. It's an easy role. It does sound wonderful. In fact, there's nothing I'd like more. And though at first I thought she was joking, she's being completely serious. That makes it hurt even more. Because I know it's impossible. I close my eyes to help hide the tears that have sprung there unbidden. Fortunately, Madison doesn't even seem to notice. You're making food, Alpha? That's nice. What kind of food are you making? I spin around. I didn't say that. Oh. I close my eyes to help hide the tears that have sprung there, unbidden. Fortunately, Madison doesn't even seem to notice. Her voice trails off, and when I open my eyes again, I see that she's looking past me, her eyes wide with awe. I spin around. Fluttering about far too early in the day. You're making chili cheese burritos? That's cool.
Are those the fairies you were talking about?
Yes.
A handful of them flit across the trees in lights, paying us no mind. They move like dancers, their motions fluid and in sync with each other. You have to leave it to cool down for a bit. There. Yeah. You know, it's been a while since I've had anything that's like chili. But like vegetarian chili is really good. As one rises up to adjust a hanging light, another fairy weaves between branches, carrying something in its hands that I can't see. Though I only spy a few of them right now, I'm sure that many more are just out of sight, deeper in the grove or otherwise nearby. Madison watches them with unabashed awe.
What are they doing?
I shrug.
I'm not sure. I've never seen them out during the day like this. Usually they stay hidden in their hive until the moon is out. They aren't like humans. They're something entirely different. Even though I've spoken with them before, I don't really understand them.
Wait, they can talk? Like they can speak human language?
Yes, they aren't the most eloquent, but yes.
I see.
Again with me accidentally clicking through stuff. Ugh. I am a very adorable puppy, thank you. The only time I've talked with them was the first time I came to this grove, all on my own. At first, they had tried to drive me out, but eventually realized that I meant them no harm. Since then, we haven't interacted. Thank you.
They're part of the forest too, right? In the connected way that you were talking about before.
Yes.
She makes a sound in acknowledgement, but doesn't say anything more. Whatever implications or meanings that might have to her goes unspoken. Soon, the fairies disappear once more into the trees. Whatever business that called them here finished. They go silently, not even the hum of their tiny wings reaching us. After only seconds, we're left all alone again.
They weren't anything like I expected.
Really? How so?
In stories I've heard, fairies are always smaller and look like little people with wings. Not like what we just saw. And they usually live in flowers and fields, not the snow. But those are just stories, of course. I keep having to remind myself that this is real life, and that real life doesn't care what happens in stories.
Thank you. You're too sweet, Alpha. Madison looks down at the pond. Gently, she places the tip of her foot into the water. Of course, the water remains still, like she isn't even there. She takes a tentative step forward, still standing upon the water. It supports her effortlessly. Her hands are slightly outstretched, as if she might lose her balance or footing and fall in. She turns around to face me.
I had an idea, actually. About getting out of here. Do you think that the forest spirit could help us? It's powerful, right? Maybe it could use its magic to make us humans again. We could even talk to it together. You'd seriously be welcome to come back with me and Tara. I'd like that a lot, actually.
I can't look at her, can't meet her eyes. All I can do is nod, trying to smile, and hoping that she doesn't see my tears.
I'd like that too. Perhaps it could help. There's certainly a chance.
There isn't. Her face lights up. Even the prospect of leaving makes her happy.
Great! Maybe we can plan together what the best way to ask it would be?
I just nod again. It's all I can do.
Sure.
I can't bring myself to tell her the truth. That no matter what she asks, what she says, there's no way the spirit can grant her wish. It's not just something that can be reversed. Her mortal form was destroyed by Evelyn just shortly after I saved her spirit. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, Madison Raines no longer exists. Neither the forest spirit nor I have the power to remake her. There's no escape. And we get into chapter 4, switching to Morgan. Another morning. Nothing's changed. No progress. No hope. The only difference this morning is that Tara's still asleep. It's the first thing I've woken up. It's the first time I've woken up before her since we started sleeping together. I'm glad she's still sleeping. I can tell she needs it. I slip out of bed and dress silently. My next move should be heading to the shop. Sticking to routine is what's kept Evelyn off our backs. For now. The instant I start thinking about Evelyn again, I'm hit by a powerful urge to climb back into bed and wrap my arms around Tara. Hold her for a little longer. I don't. She needs her rest, and there's still some time before she leaves. Somehow, thinking about that makes me feel even worse. I try to push the thoughts away, but her voice does that for me.
Oh shit, what time is it?
She's sitting up in bed and rubbing at her eyes. She's still wearing her clothes from the night before. Or at least the top half. But her sitting up doesn't mean she's actually awake.
It's still early. You can rest more.
No, it's fine. I got this.
I'm just going to go spend some time in the shop so nobody comes to check in on us later today. Get some sleep. I'll be back soon.
You sure?
I move back to the bed and kiss her forehead before lowering her onto the pillow.
I'm sure. I'll wake you up when I'm back.
Okay, cool. Thanks, babe. Thanks.
Dead silence.
I knew what you meant.
I'm out the door before either of us can say a word. I don't want to think about that right now. I just need to get to the shop. I'm so focused on that, I almost slam into Evelyn the second I step outside.
No need to rush, dear.
My brain jumps to panic mode. Why is she here? She's never here in the morning. Did she come for us? The door isn't shut all the way. I could run back inside, grab Tara, get out. I know deep down that it's pointless to try. If she wanted us dead, we'd be dead. I don't know why she's sparing us, but if she changes her mind, we won't get a warning.
What do you want?
Her mouth curls into a frown.
Am I not supposed to take an interest in my daughter's life? I thought you had outgrown that phase.
I grit my teeth. The sight of Tara's body being flung into the wall, Maddie's room in the cabin, hauntingly empty. She doesn't have the right to even pretend to be my mother.
I'm not your daughter.
Morgan!
I flinch as she raises her voice. I hate letting her get a rise out of me. But there's too many memories making me afraid of that sound. She just sighs and her features sink. She almost looks visibly hurt. Only almost. There's still something inhuman about her expression. Something I've never been able to understand.
You can be so cruel sometimes. You weren't always. When you were young, you were the sweetest thing. You would never imagine the things you say to me so casually now.
I clench my fists, have to keep it together. My nails push slightly against the skin of my palm. As always, my fingers freeze before they draw blood.
I'm going to work.
My voice comes out as a rasp, and I cringe at the weakness of it. She puts her hand on my shoulder as I try to walk past.
Work can wait, dear. I'm sure your customers will understand. I have something to show you. I thought since you were so desperate to see in my office, I could give you a little glimpse of what I keep in there.
Evelyn drops her hand, her lips twisting into a sickeningly sweet smile.
If you're not interested, however, I'm sure your American friend would be eager to join me.
My blood freezes. I want to hit her. I want to scream at her. I'm not sure if it's fear or the curse she's placed on me that's keeping me rooted to the spot. I can't even look up at her. She knows she's won, and she always has. I can feel her eyes on me as she waits for me to follow her. The moment passes, and she makes a sound of affirmation. She turns away.
Now come with me, dear.
I figure out where we're heading after a couple minutes of walking. The forest. If she's taking me in there, then this could be it.
Ah, here we are.
I look back to the house for what I hope isn't the last time. What's going to happen if Tara wakes up and can't find me? What if she never sees me again?
Tara.
I mutter her name under my breath. Some dumb childish part of me hopes that she heard it somehow. It's better that she's not here, but I still wish she was.
What was that, dear?
Nothing.
I ought to thank your friend. She's made motivating you so much easier. It's nice to see you caring about someone other than yourself for once. I'd almost think you were finally growing up, if you weren't so stubbornly holding on to your teenage rebelliousness.
I don't say anything. I keep my face blank. 1, 2, breathing. She pays me no mind. We walk into the forest, past the initial tree line into its depths. At least I know where we are. Or I thought I did. As we keep on walking, I realize I don't know where we are at all. I don't recognize any of this. The trees are different. These aren't the ones I know. They aren't even the ones I saw when we started walking. Moira! Hello, thank you for the raid. Let me give you a shout out. Hello, you were playing Cyberpunk 2077? Nice. How was that? Hope you had a fun time playing that. I actually do kind of want to get that game and play it. I know it had kind of a terrible launch, but like, yeah. But I've heard it's improved. So maybe I can get it on sale. I sound different from the last time you heard me speak. I don't know. I mean, I'm doing voices for this game. So maybe that's it? I'm not sure. But yeah. Glad that you had a fun time. We're just playing some Heart of the Woods here. It's like the visual novel that I actually have ever played, as in like I'm currently playing it. This is my first playthrough, but like it's such a compelling visual novel. That is the first visual novel that has ever got me to actually play it. And it's so good. I love Heart of the Woods. Anyway, welcome to the story. We're currently playing as Morgan, who is being guided by her demonic mother. So yeah, let's get back to that. Have a good lurk, Moira. I've walked this path dozens of times. There's no way I'm making a mistake. The branches blot out the sun even more than usual. And the shadows seem to blend around Evelyn. I can hear the creaking of old wood in the darkness. It almost sounds like the trees are moving. I've never seen the forest behave like this. never seen anything behave like this. As we walk, Evelyn keeps turning her head to glance at me. Big yawn. Probably trying to see how scared I am. I don't let my expression waver. I won't let her in. She won't win this one. The things around me don't even look like trees anymore. They're too gnarled and rotten. They twist into shapes that should be impossible. They form walls around us as we walk, pushing us forward. I can't help drawing in on myself. It's like the whole forest is closing around us. It's getting harder to breathe. I feel like I'm about to be crushed by the forest itself. And just when I think I can't take it anymore, we break into a clearing. And in the center of the clearing is a beautiful, radiant tree. It's actually green. Real, brilliant green needles. The trunk is so thick and sturdy that the bark makes it look almost armor-plated. The rich scent of pine fills the air. Then the shadows around us are kept at bay by a shimmering golden light. I can breathe again. Crisp, clear air fills my lungs. The awful sensation of the twisted forests are all but forgotten. I reach out my hand to it, but only reach. Something inside me tells me that I'm not supposed to touch it, that I'm not even supposed to be here.
What is this?
She ignores me, or at least I think she does. I don't turn around to look at her, but I'm too transfixed by the tree ahead of me. I don't know how long I stand there, staring, but after some time, I notice the air around me change. My limbs begin to numb almost immediately. When I look back at Evelyn, she's glowing. An oily shimmer all over her body. And she's smiling at me. Smiling.
You were so peaceful, so calm. I can't remember another time when you were so relaxed. I hate to interrupt it. Really, I do. But I only have so much time to spend here. Do you understand?
She starts walking towards me. That's when I see the knife in her hand. I try to open my mouth to speak. I try to move my feet away from her. I can't. Completely still, impulse crashes against nature. My heart hammers in my chest. Every muscle in my body is frozen. I can't even shake.
This forest spirit. It's so young. As small as it is, the power within it is enough to melt the ice in this place, to draw you in. You love it so much, even though you'd only just met it moments ago.
A rush of understanding fills me. The warmth, the peace in this place. A haven from the cold, and we are the intruders.
I always knew you were part of this forest. Much more than any of the others. This confirms that.
She grabs my hand and holds it, examining my palm, running her fingers over it, over its creases, as if it's like nothing she's ever seen before.
I thought it would make you dangerous. It didn't. It made you weaker.
She presses the blade to my hand. My mind screams at my body, desperately trying to get my muscles to respond.
Your one chance at success, of escape. And you're weakened by it.
She laughs to herself, like she knows a joke I'm not in on. With a swift motion, she drags the knife against my palm. I stare in horror as blood trickles and pools from the open gash.
Since you loved it so much, I wonder how it will feel for you to be the one to kill it.
My strings are cut in that moment, and I fall over. The rush of sensations rush over me all at once. The pain, the cold. I scream out, clutching my palm. I turn to try and crawl immediately, my instincts shouting at me as I fall to my knees over and over. Get up! Run! Run! But it's too late. Evelyn grabs my wrist so hard, I feel like the bones are about to break. And she swings me around and presses my bloody palm into the forest spirit. And welcome to Ad Break. That's a cliffhanger for the ads? Oh my god. Oh. What the fuck? Oh, this is a mind trip. Like, what is happening? Like, I don't think it's time for, like, Evelyn to, like, you know, take... I don't think it's time for Evelyn to take over Morgan yet, because, like, you know, that's gotta be the night of the full moon. Thank you for the hydrate and the posture check. But I guess she's killing the forest spirit? Yeah. And, like, when you say this got dark real fast, like, yes, but hear me out. Maddie already got killed last part. Like, I think we've all... I think the barrier for, like, how dark this story can get is like, pretty high. But yeah, no, it's about to get darker. I can just tell it, like, and honestly, the darkest part of the story is probably gonna be the very end, if I had to guess. I love it, though. This is such a good story. It's so well written. Like, this story is so well written. And Morgan's cute. Even when she's even when she's terrified like she is right now, she's still cute. I'm gonna be... I'm gonna do more visual novels after this. Like, I wanna see more visual novels with, like, Studio Elan. Anyway, welcome back from ads. You're right, Milpy. Girls are cute. So, let's continue. Before I can rip my hand away, I feel a voice bursting forth from within. Pain rips forth from my chest the more I try to hold the words back. I cover my mouth with my hands and stumble back in horror. But it's too late. An unexplainable sound fills the air, a hideous groaning. I know what it is. I do. I don't want to admit it to myself, though. It's the spirit. Blackness moves up the shining green needles. The calming aura disappears completely, and it's replaced by something else. Pain. It's pain. I fall to my knees as the trunk begins to twist into itself. Bits of bark fall into the snow. The rotting blackness creeps up from its roots, and the unsteady trunk begins to sway. The needles wither and die. My head is filled with suffering. I hear a crackling then. A black tar seeps out from the bark, smelling of death. Morgan screams in pain and terror as the ancestral tree before her is killed. It bursts into flames. Stream is loading. Uh-oh. Hopefully that's just on your end, because it seems fine on my end.
No, 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 no!
I try to hold my mouth closed. Incantations leave my throat in a voice that's mine, but yet isn't. Evelyn's standing farther back now, watching the scene before her. Her face is contorted into a terrifying grin. She's enjoying this. The cackling grows louder. The crackling grows louder. My breath catches in my chest, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Evelyn, hand outstretched.
No! Don't! Stop!
With a crack louder than thunder, the spirit's trunk splits in two. A beat of silence follows. And then I hear screams. It comes from all around me, something crying out from within the woods, a shrieking, earth-shattering wail. My heart breaks. It's not something in the forest. It is the forest. Somehow, the trees around me are all screaming in pain. I'm screaming now. I can barely hear myself through the shrieking vortex around me. I can't look. I bow my head, still screaming, as the fire burns. Even the fire feels wrong. It's cold, freezing. Fire blooms around the tree, shooting high above the tree line. In one giant, blinding burst, the tree is gone. All that's left is a circle of scorched earth. The burn is more intense than anything else I've ever seen. It looks like it stretches down forever. Somewhere in my heart, I knew nothing will ever grow here again. The screams start to fade. I slowly take my hands from my ears.
Thank you for being such a help, dear. Really.
Morgan looks back at Evelyn with gritted teeth.
You're a monster.
How funny. Your mother said the exact same thing. You really do take after her.
I can't gather my thoughts enough to respond. The screams are still echoing in my mind.
Never forget this day, child. In the brief time you have left, I want you to know for certain that you don't stand a chance at changing your fate. You never have. None of you ever had. And when the time comes for you to serve as my vessel, I'll make sure the next one won't either.
She reaches out toward me, and I prepare for the worst. But all she does is pat my head and ruffle my hair.
You can find your own way home, I assume. I know how much you love these woods.
She gives another chuckle as she turns and walks away, heading back into the shadowy trees. She disappears into the forest. All that's left is me and the disgruntled burnt circle. In the disgusting burnt circle. My mind is blank, numb with shock. Quietly, slowly, one thought begins to take form. Oh, here we go. Okay, chat. It is time. Let's make another save. Okay, we have another decision to make. So, there's nothing we can do, or she'll pay for this. Once again, I will be the tiebreaker if we cannot make a decision, but for the time being... Okay, the poll is up, folks. It's only a minute long. Go ahead and cast your votes. What do you think we should do? Do you think there's nothing we can do? Or do we think that Evelyn's gonna pay for this? How do we all feel, chat? And I have a strong feeling that this is definitely going to drive us into whether or not we get the good ending or the bad ending. I don't know how many endings there are to this story, actually. I definitely haven't seen all of them. I've only seen, like, one. I even forgot there were multiple endings. Anyway, cast your votes, cast your votes! The poll is ending, the poll is ending! Cast your votes! She'll pay for this. Okay. Looks like we're gonna make her pay. No matter what it takes, she'll pay for this. She's tried to break me for years, over and over again. I've never let her, and I'm not going to let her do it now. I don't care how powerful she is. I don't care what she did to Maddie. She's going to pay. And Tara and I are going to make sure of it. We'll destroy her. Once and for all. We'll leave this place behind for good. Together. And nothing's going to stop us. I open the front door, and its weight drags me forward as I stumble inside. I prop myself up on the knob, trying to catch my breath. I can't. Tara must have heard the door because her footsteps come booming down the stairs. She doesn't fall. So I'm surprised, given the last 5 times she ended up slamming into the wall. I keep telling her to be careful. This time, I'm glad she isn't. Closing the door behind me, I finally manage to enter the kitchen as she rounds a corner.
Holy shit, you're okay. I thought when you didn't come home,
I'm okay. Don't worry. It wasn't anything.
I can't seem to finish my sentence. My head is swimming. I stumble again, ready to collapse on the floor.
Let's go upstairs. You need some rest. Come on.
Her voice is warm, quiet, and reassuring. I can't believe it belongs to the same girl that spends her days yelling about the Loch Ness Monster. But it's what I need right now.
Thank you, Tara.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. We're the dream team, remember?
She flashes me a now very familiar wide-mouthed goofy grin. I can tell she's trying to distract me from the fear and worry I can see in her eyes. She's never been hard to read, but by now, she's an open book. But at least she's trying. That counts.
Come on, let's get up there.
Tara holds my arm to steady me as we go up the stairs. I hate being like this. I'm not supposed to be weak. I can't be weak. I ignore the shaking in my legs and force myself to stand on my own. Even if I'm just walking to the bed to sit down, it helps.
You just sit here for a minute and relax, okay? I'll go make some coffee or something.
I thought you didn't even know how to make coffee.
That's where the or something comes in.
It takes me a second to realize that I'm laughing. Everything's gone wrong, but I'm laughing. Every time I start to lose hope, she makes me grin. She's smiling again. It's genuine this time.
I guess I'll take the risk. Thank you, Tara.
I'm not good with words. I want to kiss her to thank her genuinely. It's not the right time. I kiss her cheek instead. Tara hesitates, staring at Morgan blankly. Her eyebrows knit together into a look of worry. She doesn't say anything, just turns and heads for the kitchen. Maybe that was a mistake, but I don't think it was. A whirlpool of panic hits my brain the instant she leaves. It threatens to overcome me, crashing over my thoughts and pulling me deeper into its abyss. My breathing runs ragged. I close my eyes, counting to 100 as I've done so many times before, but it's not enough. The forest, Maddie, Evelyn, Tara. I try to raise my head above the water. I can't do this. After everything with Maddie, with Evelyn, Tara shouldn't have to deal with my problems too. And neither of us has time to deal with all the feelings I know we're not talking about. If I'm a bigger part of the picture than Maddie, I know what that's going to lead to. I'll hold it in. I'll be fine. I shake my head. It's so much harder to lie to myself than it used to be. Those heavy footsteps save me from the mess in my head. Tara slips back into the room with 2 mugs of what I think is supposed to be coffee. The smell of coffee always makes me calm, but right now it just makes me feel sick.
Here we go. If the caffeine in this doesn't wake you up, then at least the taste will.
As long as it doesn't kill me.
No promises.
I bring the mug to my lips and taste it carefully. It's not bad, or I'm just desperate. Either way, I keep drinking it.
So, what happened out there? Did she hurt you?
Not really. She just went on about how I can't do anything to her. It wasn't anything serious.
Now you feel irresponsible. What do you mean, Moopy? What do you feel responsible for?
Bullshit.
I want to tell her not to worry, but I can't. Evelyn's laughter rattles around in my head the second I open my mouth. The choice from earlier? Well, yeah, but like, we don't even know where that choice is leading us. Like, for all we know, you have led us to the good ending. So don't feel like, don't feel too burdened by the decision. And I am gonna go back and replay all the earlier stuff too. Like, yeah, I wanna go through like all the different routes. Really, I just needed help making a decision on like what route we're going on right now. I place the already empty mug of coffee on my desk. I hear Tara's sharp intake of breath behind me, and I spin around, my heart racing. Fear and worry reflect in her eyes as her gaze flits between my face and my hand. I look down at my own palm, still bleeding gently. It throbs now that I'm looking at it. With everything that happened, I forgot about it. Tara reaches forward and holds my hand between her own, applying a gentle pressure to it. Her concern is more than I can handle. I can't lie to her.
I'm sorry, Tara. We've already got so much to worry about. I didn't want to give you more.
I want to look out for you, Morgan. I can take it.
The two of us sit silently for what feels like an eternity. Every sentence I try to form falls apart the moment I open my mouth. But eventually, I do it.
And then I couldn't stop. I was killing it.
Tara rubs my hands, staying quiet as I continue talking. I feel my eyes stinging the more I speak, but I have to hold it together.
It was burning. It was burning and dying. It was like the entire forest felt it. I couldn't stop the magic no matter what I did. And after everything was said and done, Evelyn, she...
I feel a tightness in my chest. I've never spoken like this before to anyone, not even to Geladura.
She told me my real mother was just like me.
I can't bring myself to continue. Voicing the implications out loud would make them more real than they already are. My real mother is gone, and whatever similarities we bore mean nothing now. All that matters is that she lost.
Shit, Morgan,
The stinging's getting worse.
She probably doesn't know how much we know. If she's trying to scare you, that means she's really scared of us. Her pulling weird shit in the forest isn't gonna change anything.
She can't understand. How do I tell her about the screams of the forest? That black fire?
The trees were...
I cut myself off. What am I doing? I already told myself I wasn't going to let this get to me. And here I am, already about to lose it. I have to keep it together.
You're right. Sorry. I shouldn't have made such a big deal out of it.
Hey, that's not what I meant. I want to hear what you have to say.
She sits down next to me. The stinging in my eyes isn't going away, no matter how many times I try to blink it back.
You know I'm not the best at, like, saying stuff. Or knowing how to say stuff.
Isn't that your job?
Yeah, but do I ever look like I know what I'm doing?
She holds my hand as I chuckle.
You've got a point. But I'm okay, I promise. It was just some cheap scare tactic. I wouldn't let something like that beat me. Like you said, this is just a sign that we're on the right track. Just because everyone else before us failed, that doesn't mean that...
Morgan,
Huh?
you're crying.
What? No, I'm not.
Inch by inch, I reach up and touch my cheek. It's wet. I can't be crying. My eyes are still stinging. I've been holding it back.
It's okay. You can cry.
told you, I'm not.
My voice cuts off as I let out a choked sob.
I'm not.
Tears flow down my face for the first time in years. Each one burns my skin like a tiny, painful reminder of how pathetic I'm being. I desperately try to wipe the tears away, even though I know it's pointless. They just keep coming. I squeeze my eyes shut instead in hopes that it'll somehow force the tears back in. And then, once again, I feel Tara's arm around me. She squeezes me so hard that I start thinking she's trying to wring the tears out of me.
Let it out. You know I've got you.
I let it out. I throw my arms around her and rest my head against her shoulder. All I can do is hope that the fabric muffles my sobs. She rubs my back slowly and presses her lips to my forehead. I already feel like I'm burning inside, but her warmth is different, soothing. My whole body shakes against Tara. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't say anything. She just holds me close. This isn't the girl I spent years watching yell about monsters on the internet. This isn't even the girl that stepped off the train a few weeks ago. Something about her being here changed her. As I cling to her for dear life, I realize that it changed me too. I can feel my tears start to slow. When that thought crosses my mind, I'm finally able to catch my breath. Tara's grip on me loosens as I stop shaking. When she takes her lips off my forehead, I have to fight the urge to pull her back down. I pull away and sit up instead. It's nice to be able to wipe my cheeks and actually have them stay dry. Looking at her now, I can see that Tara's face is stained with tears too. It's my fault.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it's cool. I don't think anyone on Earth or anywhere else would say you don't deserve a minute to get it all out there.
If you say so.
For what it's worth, I think you stand a way better chance than any of the people that came before you. After all, you've got one thing they don't.
What's that?
She breaks into another massive grin. Then the tear streaks on her face can't. She breaks into another massive grin that the tear streaks on her face can't hope to tarnish. I know what she's going to say before she even brings out the finger guns.
Me, obviously.
I start to chuckle before bursting into laughter. Real, full laughter. Every now and then, a sob slips in. I don't mind as much anymore. As always, she knew how to make me feel better.
My incredibly humble savior.
Hey, if I can't stay on brand even under the threat of death, I don't deserve to be popular.
I love that about you.
I clamp my mouth shut the instant the words leave me. The instant the words leave it. I don't know where that came from. Tara's expression makes it clear she doesn't either.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Hang on, I wasn't paying full attention. What did she say? I love that. Oh. We look away from each other. I do my best to focus on anything in the room that will hold my attention.
Hey, can I say something?
When I look back up at her, I can see that her entire face is bright red.
As much as I love to joke, I'm 100% serious about you having something that they didn't have. more than one thing, actually.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you're really brave. Like, the bravest person I've ever met. You're smart, too. Hell of a lot smarter than I am. You're...
She scrunches up her face in that cute way she always does when she's trying to figure out what to say next. Which means I've seen a lot of it.
You're all the things that I act like I am. You're smart, you're brave, you're strong, you're not afraid to fight back against bullshit, you're beautiful, you're capable. You've been through a ton of bad shit all your life, and you're still fighting, even against things nobody else out there believes. I spend nearly every day of my life thinking about the strangest things in the world, and I still couldn't have imagined someone like you really existing.
If I hadn't watched her ramble for years, then I'm sure that by now she'd be incomprehensible. But I can hear every word, and I can feel my heart beating faster with each one.
And you're just really awesome and fun to be around, and being here with you is one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and I don't want this to end, and I'm
You're in love with me.
in love with you!
Aww. That's the cutest thing. That's so adorable. Aww. Wait, did I just... And she? We both sit in stunned silence. I try to tell myself that I don't know where that came from. Another lie. I've known for a while now. Just like I know that
Look, I'm really sorry. I know we agreed from the start that we wouldn't catch feelings. I swear I've never had this happen before.
She's a mess. But she's a mess I'm in love with.
I get if you're upset, and I'm sorry for bringing this up now while we've still got this other shit going on. And when this is over, I can just leave, and I won't make a big deal about any of it, and we can just go back to living our own separate lives.
Aww. Aww. So cute. Aww. I grab her cheeks and pull her face towards mine before she even realizes I've moved. I bring our lips together hard and kiss her in a way I've never have before. I don't know how to describe it. I just know it's something new. We've kissed plenty of times, but this isn't like any of those. It isn't like any kiss I've ever had with anyone. It's healing. It's grounding. It's incredible. It only takes a second before she kisses back hard. She grabs me again, and I can feel her hands moving along the length of my body. It's like she's looking for handholds. I realize in the back of my mind that this is the first time we've had a kiss this deep without one of us putting their tongue in the other one's mouth. I'd laugh if I didn't have more important things to do with my mouth. We don't have to stop for breath. We do have to stop for breath eventually. All we do is blow hot air into each other's faces for a split second before coming back together. This is too good to let it end so soon. One of us is crying. It had better not be me. We break to gasp for air.
I love you too, obviously.
Tara plants smaller kisses on my bottom lip as I speak.
Yeah, I kinda figured.
Saying it out loud feels incredible. It's like dropping weights I'd been carrying for miles. I can feel everything Evelyn took from me coming back in force.
I guess I really do have you after all.
With an air of finality, we break apart, but remain close. Tara presses her forehead to mine and nuzzles my nose. Tara is blushing hard while looking at Morgan, determined.
I'm not going to let her hurt you. I promise.
I know.
We're gonna beat this thing, Morgan. We're gonna kick Evelyn's ass, and we're gonna save my best friend. And when we leave the shitty village behind for good, I want you to come with us.
Yeah, of course.
I'm still not able to match her level of confidence. I love her, but that doesn't magically guarantee things will be okay. I'll keep trying to get there, though.
So, what does this make us?
What do you mean?
Are we, like, dating? Or...
She rubs the back of her neck and smiles awkwardly.
I mean, it's been a while since I've done something like this, and this isn't exactly a normal dating scenario.
I know what she's trying to say. We don't know what's around the corner yet.
I don't know. Not that it's anything against you, of course. I love you a lot. I don't doubt that for a second. But I don't know if I can put a name on that love right now. Not with everything else we're dealing with.
And here I always thought fighting an ancient evil monster would be the perfect setting for asking someone out.
She doesn't sound mad. That's a good sign.
Maybe, if everything turns out okay, we could give it a shot. Putting a name on it, I mean.
She cranes her neck up towards me and kisses my cheek.
Saving it for after we kick some ass, huh? I can dig it. So, what does that make us? For right now, I mean.
Can we just be people who love each other? Stay friends the way we are right now, but in love.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I do have one question, though.
Shoot.
Can we kiss more often now?
That works for me.
I already know she's about to kiss me, but I beat her there. My lips meet hers on the way up. Her squeak of surprise melts away as we hold each other. I'm still afraid. I'm still uncertain. But this helps. She helps. Thank you, Tara, for everything. And that, I think, is a good place to stop it. So, let's see, these are the two saves we made for decision making, so let's save over this save, because that's the save that we were using to go back and forth for, and Moopy is giving me a treat. Oh my gosh. Okay. I will have a treat. This one does not want to come out. There it goes. Mmm. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So, how are we liking the story? Mmm. Yum, yum, yum. Yummy, 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 yum. Yummy. Yeah, this story is an emotional roller coaster. We finally got to the part where we have to make decisions. I couldn't even remember that we did have to make decisions, but apparently we do. So yeah, I guess we're just seeing how this is gonna play out. So to everyone watching, you can find my links in all the places you can find me. I have a Discord server where you can join me and friends as we chat and hang out. I do need to get back to hanging out in there. I hung out a lot in voice chat in my server for a bit until recently. Oh yeah, so to make a little quick announcement. So on Sunday, me, Pi, and Minra are all going to do a group collab for the Vtuber SummerSlam celebration thing. It's basically a charity event for raising money for Gamers Outreach, which is an organization for getting games to children in hospitals so that they don't have to just, sit in their bed and twiddle their thumbs all day. They can, actually play games that they enjoy and pass the time. So, yeah, on Sunday at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna do our big group collab. So, yeah, our goal is $100. We're hoping to raise $100 for the Gamers Outreach. So we would love and appreciate any donations on that day. But otherwise, yeah, be sure to check that out. We haven't finalized every little detail about it, but yeah, we're gonna do crowd control, and we'll be probably playing like Super Mario Party or something like that, which is a game I have never played before. So yeah, mark your calendars, look forward to that. Yeah, Sunday, last day of June, last day of Pride Month. It's gonna be fun. It was nice being your best friend too, Pi. Also, here's quick shout-outs to the people I'll be doing my collab with. Shout out to Pi and shout out to Minra. And yeah, also one last thing, join the V-Spire Discord, because V-Spire's a thing, and Pi and Minnie and me are all part of it. So yeah, that's a big thing that we're gonna do. I hope y'all look forward to it. It's gonna be a fun time. I'll continue this at some point. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday, I don't know. I will at some point, though. And anyway, with all that said, thank y'all for watching. Who is streaming right now? Who can we raid? Well, I see Curbwood streaming. But you know what? Actually, I haven't seen Illith in a while. We might raid Illith. Alright, yeah, we're gonna raid Illith, I think. So, Here in chat is our raid message. There you go. You can copy and paste that when we get there. You think Illith is also doing the fundraiser? Oh, that would be neat. So yeah. Yeah, I see hashtag Vtuber SS 2024. Yeah, so yeah, bring your wallet to Illith.
Good girl.
Anyway, thank y'all for watching. As a reminder, what are you reminding me of, Pi? I did hear it, but oh wait, you're reminding me that I'm a good girl? Oh, okay. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, thank y'all for watching. Let's send our love to Illith. I hope to see you next time. I love you, Pi. Bye-bye!